Very great morning to all of you, dear students. So now we are on the verge of completing our third unit on insulating materials. We have discussed various insulating materials, gaseous insulating material, liquid insulating material, solid insulating materials. We have completed test number 3 also. You have understood how to compare different insulating materials, solid, liquid, insulating. This will be the very important questions from the oral point of view because many experiments are finding the breakdown strength of insulating materials only. 3 4 experiments are there or resistivity measurement. So in that case comparison points has to be understood in depth so that you will get marks in oral exams. So that also we have discussed. I have given suggestions on your test papers. I ask you to resubmit the test paper. I will go through that, and I have just told you the assignment also. So complete your assignment. If you are not uploaded, this assignment is very important. Now let us start discussing about the insulating materials in various electrical devices, transformer, rotating machines, cables, insulators, so that actually you will understand how these insulating materials, what you studied, characteristics and applications, how and where they are used. Okay. So I have tried to show you with the videos actually the place in the equipments. Now first I am discussing about the cable, which is very easy to understand, and I hope you have studied cable in first year. Okay, so this is the picture of one cable. So you can see this simple cable you are using, single wire core you are using in your home also. So when we talk about the cable, center is the conducting material, core is made up of conducting material, and we have to insulate this conducting material with the insulation so that current will not pass from this conducting material to us. Suppose you buy any means you are just touching it by mistake, so current should not flow from this conductor to your hand to your body. That is the intention, because you are standing on the earth and this is having some potential and earth is having zero potential, so there will be potential difference between your body and this conductor material. So current will, instead of flowing current through this, it will flow through your body and you will get shock. So we are protecting this conductor, means you are, it is for our protection also with this insulation. So what will happen when you by mistake you touch, your hand will be here, and now current will not flow from the conductor to this insulating material, because this resistance of this insulating material is very high and resistance of this conducting material is very less. So current will flow in the length, current will not flow from its cross section. Okay, so this is one example where two core wire is shown. So you can just see insulation surrounding the core, and again these two strands are also immersed in one another insulation. So this you can consider three core cables, because when you will go for higher and higher voltage, these insulations should withstand that voltage. So therefore lot of insulation will be required. So this you can see, it is a 7 strand conductor, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So these are 7 strands. Each strand is coated with insulating material, and again this will be also immersed in the oil also, because we have seen oil just gives cooling also, and for very high voltage oil is preferred than solid and gas. SF6 gas also we have seen. So you can just circulate these three cores with the SF6 gas in one big core like this for very high voltage underground cables. So let us see about the insulating materials used in the cables. So you might have studied different insulation layers or just the cable constructions. So you know that cable should have high resistivity, insulating materials of the cable, not the conductor. The whatever insulations you are using for just across the core or across the conducting material, properties required are it should have high resistivity, and that are the natural properties which we desire from the insulating materials. But for cable, it is specifically it should have very high resistivity, high dielectric strength. What is the difference between resistivity and a high dielectric strength? Resistivity means current, leakage current will be very small, and high dielectric strength means that insulation will not break down electrically at a lower voltage. So electrically breakdown means it will not start behaving as a conducting material at very high voltage. Then insulating materials of the cable should have low thermal coefficient, because if thermal coefficient will be very large, then heat will be also transferred, and that due to the heat, temperature rise will be increased, insulation will start melting. That should not happen. So it should have low thermal coefficient of expansion, low water absorptions, because see, when you are underlying this cables, underground applications, and you know water is flowing through the earth or underground when in rainy seasons also. So it should not absorb the water. So low water absorptions, low permittivity, non-inflammable, because fire should not be catched by these insulating materials. Otherwise, that insulating materials will itself be flammable, and then fire will be caught with that. No, it is not desired. Chemical stability should be very good. Suppose acid is coming in the ground or surrounding atmosphere, then it should have the high stability, chemical stability. Otherwise, if you are using this in the bare atmosphere and fumes are coming from the nearby industry and then material gets deteriorated, it's not desired. So chemical stability has to be very large. It should have high mechanical strength. See, when you are using in the atmosphere, these will pass over a long distance. You can just see, or underground also. So what will be weight coming on this cable underground? So mechanical strength has to be large. Otherwise, what will happen due to stone layers, soil layers, and the weight of the ground material will start wear and tear, and just damaging some, scratching some parts. So I have told you, a small dot of scratch will also lead to breakdown. Small dust particle will lead to the breakdown. So mechanical strength also should be very large, and due to this, underground cables are very costly. High viscosity at impregnation temperature. Okay, so viscosity at impregnation temperature. You know what is impregnation? When we will just dip this material into the oil, we will heat, we will dry. That is called as impregnation. So it should have high viscosity. Then capability to withstand high rupturing voltage, and then high tensile strength and plasticity. If tensile strength will not be there, then you cannot just use it as desired in the shape, or just covering, or just in the lengthwise laying it. So plasticity and tensile strength also should be large. Mechanical strength, tensile strength should be also large. So here are some insulating materials. So you can just see, this is a 3-core cable. So paper insulation is used surrounding the core immediately. Then lead sheath, because now see, these are underground cables. Okay, cables generally we have to see high voltage cable. You don't see our telephone cables or internet cables. We are electrical engineer, we are not electronic engineer. So when we talk cable in electrical engineering, we have to consider high voltage. Of course, our material science itself is related to insulating materials, dielectric materials. It is related to high voltage only. So these are underground cables which are used for high voltage, extra high voltage. So these insulations should be very strong mechanically. So lead sheath is used, which is very strong. First initially paper, then lead sheet, because all these 3 cores will be covered with the lead sheet. And then bedding, you have just learned this in first year. So bedding is there and armoring is there. Armoring will also have some steel wires for increasing mechanical strength, wear and tear ability, resistance to that. So that is called as armoring. And then serving. Last cover is of serving. So this is also, you can say, these are belted cables. So like a belt, it will be wound over the core. Then again lead sheath. Then again bedding. Then this is single wire armoring. So when you are using steel, that is only single layer, but that armoring can have double layer, 3 layers, and overall serving. So core of conductor, insulation, metallic sheath. I know that you have studied. Our focus is only on the insulating material which can be used for the cable and where they can be used. Okay. Now here you can just see where insulating materials are used in cable. Surrounding the core, surrounding means to just accommodate all the cores. Then this armoring, it is made up of material, conducting material means steel. And then again serving overall bedding. So PVC is used. Popular insulating material which is used for cable. Immediately you can identify with this color. Okay. So RYB, red, yellow and blue for the red phase, and neutral will be black. Okay, so PVC is popularly used because this material has good dielectric strength, high insulation resistance and high melting temperature. These have not so good mechanical properties as those of rubber. If you compare PVC and rubber, you will see that rubber has high mechanical strength. And how you will understand? Always in comparison form. Okay. So it is inert to oxygen. Inert to oxygen means it will not be affected with the oxygen or oxidization, or you just know fire or in flammability. It will not happen, and almost inert to many alkalis and acids. So what we have discussed, it should have high chemical resistance and inflammable, then it is due to this property. So PVC is very good. Thermoplastic is also used. So what is this thermoplastic? Thermoplastic compounds are materials which go soft when heated and harden when cooled. So this property is very used, means when they are heated they soft, but when they are cooled they becomes hard. So it will be heated first, then it will be made in desired shape, and then it will be cooled down. So it will become hard. So polyvinyl chloride is the most commonly used thermoplastic insulator for cables. So PVC is poly means thermoplastic only. So soft and hard, therefore you can convert it into any desired shape. It is cheap also, durable also, and available also. So it is very essential property. Which material you can use? Availability should be there. Otherwise, it will be very good, but it's not available. Otherwise, it will be very costly and its life is less. Who will use it? So these are also important properties. Okay. But see, the chlorine in PVC or halogen causes the production of thick, toxic black smoke when burned. So you know when PVC will be burned, it will just deteriorate atmosphere. Pollution will be created. Toxic it is there. It will create the thick material also, the residue, and black smoke also. So it can create health hazard in areas where low smoke and toxicity are required. So some areas are very required from the environmental protection point of view, our safety point of view, and it can create the hazard. Okay, in confined areas such as tunnels. So when you will use in the tunnels, then it can create the hazards. It will cause the effects on human. In such a case, it will be burnt. So this care also we have to take. So normal operating temperature is 75 to 105 degrees Celsius. Temperature limit is 106. You can just write down mind map. You create the tabular form. That is the best practice to remember all the things. Whole chapter you can just remember in 3 pages. First, comparison of solid. Second, comparison of liquid, and third is comparison of gaseous. And then whatever material we are discussing for cable, capacitors, transformer, machines, everything should be found out from that your comparison tables. Okay. So now the college is opening, so be ready for the normal conventional exams. So start preparing, don't spend your Diwali vacation. Now next is polyethylene. It is the part of class of polymers called polyrephines. Okay, polyphins. Polyethylene has low dielectric losses than PVC. So what are the important properties for dielectric losses? Permittivity. Tan delta dissipation factor is low, so dielectric loss will be less than polyethylene. It is sensitive to moisture under voltage stress. So even if the dielectric loss is less, polyethylene will not be preferred over PVC for very high voltage, because sensitive to atmosphere, sensitive to moisture. So for underground, it will be not preferred. So under voltage test for high voltage only. Okay. So that care you have to take. Then thermoset